Good day, everyone. This is Pumpkin Mules, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are the Barovians treating you?
I don't know because I haven't seen them because I've been stuck in the castle dying of the Ravenloft plague.
Oh, hmm. There are too many rats in your castle, I think.
There's too many something. I'm telling you, this was like the worst plague I have ever had.
Oh, well.
Thankfully, it's getting better.
All right,
Uh,
that's
I
good to
can
hear at
actually
least.
talk now. Last week, if we would have recorded, it would have been really interesting because it basically would have been you talking and nobody being able to understand me because I couldn't talk. So that would have made for a very interesting podcast.
Or not.
Depends on your view, I guess. But yes.
Depends on your view then. Then let's head into because tonight we have our DDO year in review where we'll take a look at what we did in 2019.
And thank God we have this because if not, this was going to be a super short, boring show.
Oh,
Because there is nothing really else to talk about. Because it's that weird time of the year where everybody's just getting back from all of the holidays. Nobody's announcing anything right now. Nobody's really, things are just kind of, everybody's getting back into the swing of things. So there's not a lot to talk about. But thank God we haven't done the DDO year in review. So here we are.
all right then. Let's head on. I guess first off we'll have a look at what happened in back in May in update 42 where I think we had some masterminds to deal with.
We did. Masterminds of Sharn was released, and that was the expansion for the year. That was released Tuesday, May the 14th. That gave us 9 story quests, 8 walk up side quests. Also had 2 raids with that. That was Too Hot to Handle and Project Nemesis. Of course, with that, we got the Sharn City Zones and the Cogs Wilderness area. Another big thing that happened with Update 42, of course, was the Tiefling. That included the iconic hero, the Scoundrel, with the all-new Bard instrument, the Fiddle. Also, the Universal Enhancement Tree was the Inquisitive that came with that. They did some epic past life feats, epic Destiny passes, some PM passes as well. We had some new named items, new set items, all of the fun stuff that came along with it. Also, around this time, we had the Hardcore League as
Well,
well.
I, well, the Hardcore League came
Oh,
in
that's true. That,
a
yep,
bit later.
yep. Scratch that, reverse that. I never said that.
Well, it came in between the two updates.
That's
Felt
true.
like
It did.
probably some minor patch in between because it was a 3 month thing, right? So it came
Yes.
in August.
Yes, it was shortly after Gen Con because they announced it at Gen Con. Started
Right.
shortly after that. I'd have to look exactly when it started, but yes. So,
Now
what did we think of 42? Update 42, Masterminds of Sharn.
we played through the entire
We did.
storyline there. We though I think we did not do all the side quests that were on the
No, we did 3 of them, maybe 2, 3 of them.
yeah maybe three of them yeah 2 or 3 of them because some of them I don't think I ever found.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem. My biggest gripe, I think, with the whole Masterminds of Sharn was to get to some of those quests was a bit difficult, shall we say.
Yeah.
The story quest, of course, wasn't too bad. It was those walk up side quests. Most of them took place in the cogs, which is fine if the cogs were easy to get around in, which they were not.
And they tended to be in the roughest parts of the cogs to get through.
Right, exactly. So you had to fight your way there, number one, and then you had to find the silly things, number two. So uh, the walk ups we did, I did enjoy, though. At some point, I do want to go back and actually do the other walk ups just to do them. But overall, I enjoyed Sharn. I think they did a good job bringing, once again, a classic D&D module area into the game.
Is that really a module or
It was a book. So it really wasn't a module. I guess module is not the best term.
right? It's more of an
It
adventure
it
area.
was like a source book, yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I'm glad we have it in the DDO. I like the area. I really enjoyed the music they did for it. I enjoyed all of the DM work. They did a good job with that. Most of the story quest I enjoyed a lot. There was a couple of them that I would just like, no, no.
There are always a couple that you're
Yeah,
like, huh?
but overall, I give it a thumbs up. I think Sharn they did a good job with. Overall, thumbs up for me for Sharn.
Yeah, I think that works pretty well.
And then, of course, the tiefling. What can you say? I've been waiting for tiefling forever, and I've
Right.
enjoyed playing my tiefling. So
Yes, I'm sure you did.
I have several of them. As a matter of fact, I know nobody's shocked. Everybody's like, "What? You have more than one tiefling? What?" I know,
Yeah,
and they're all warlocks. I know. Again, nobody's shocked.
oh, that's right. Even when you got a scoundrel, it was like,
It
well,
was
you need
still a
a
warlock. Yeah,
bard.
yeah.
That's a warlock.
I was like, we're gonna take bard. Okay, we're done. Now we're gonna go warlock. Splashed a little bard for a few little things I wanted, and then I'm like, we're gonna go warlock now.
Yeah, that
So,
sounds like
what
that
can I
sounds like what
say?
you wanted to do. And the Inquisitive, I never really worked with all that much. I don't know if you tried it
I
out.
know I have not. I looked at it. I was like, I'm gonna roll one of these up just to play with it, and that's as far as I got.
Yeah. I think my problem with it was that I happened to have tried it when there were still a few bugs in it.
Oh yeah,
As a
yeah, yeah.
result, I stopped playing it right around that time, and I think when I tried it again later, it was when my main goal was something else. I forgot what it was. I think later in the year where I did something
Yeah,
where
I think what I'm going to do is I might roll one up. I might do that over on Wayfinder, maybe. Because with the Wayfinder group I have, we're kind of concentrating on our epic characters.
yeah.
But if like there's a week when all of us can't be there, we tend to play other characters. So I might maybe roll an Inquisitive up for that. So I have that to play with and check out. So that might be something I do this year, maybe. We'll see.
Okay. With all the other stuff you're doing.
Again, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yes. Yeah.
Spoiler alert for later in the show.
Right. Then let's head into update 43, where we follow the story in Skarn with and Sharn with the Soul Splitter.
And this was released Tuesday, September the 10th. This did give us some new quests. It was Finding Doris, Safety in Numbers, the Underline assignment, Members Only, the Offshore Account, and Soul Survivor. These were 17 on Heroic and 32 on Epic. And of course, we got some new named items, as you always do.
Yeah. Now these quests, I found some of them to be a little bit more annoying than the ones from the original Shard, especially Soul Survivor.
Yeah, that last quest was. We'll talk about that in a second, but I really enjoyed Safety in Numbers. My favorite one out of all these were the Underline Assignment and Members Only.
Underlane assignment,
Or
yeah.
Underlane, sorry, Assignment and Members Only. Those were my two favorite quests out of these.
Let's see.
That Offshore Account was fun. It wasn't bad. Finding Doris, I'm trying to forget. It was not fun at all. That's one that I did several times just to like get through it, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, whew, we're done, great. And then Soul Survivor, kind of the same thing. Um,
Yeah.
so
And when I found out that there was an easier way to finish it than what I was doing originally. In other words, that you could either finish it thoroughly or finish it quickly. I chose get out of here as quickly as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's forget about some of those optionals and get because the optionals
Yep.
are really bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree. Then again, the main things I liked about this update, the DM work was spectacular. The music, again, loved the music they did. So had it going for it. Unfortunately, it had the end quest going for it as well. Just did not like that end quest that much. But as you said, if you just go and do it and get it over with and don't worry about the optionals, it's a little better. That end fight still sucks. Like,
Oh yeah, that end fight's a pain, and seeing how after you finish the end fight, you still have to worry about a puzzle, which I'm sure isn't exactly your favorite thing about the
yeah,
game.
that's the biggest thing. I was like, oh, no, 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 not no, no, no.
He said, "All right, I'm doing it with Pine Leaf. Let him do
That's
it."
right. Yep, that's. I think it's well established by now. Anytime I'm playing with you and there's a puzzle, it's like Pine Leap, you're up.
You're up.
And then I go grab something to drink, go do something, come back. I'm like, you done? Oh, nope, not done yet. Okay, I'll be back. I AFK puzzles. It's what I do.
That's what you do. Okay.
It's fine.
Then let's head into update 44, the Keep on the Borderlands.
Yay! I was so looking forward to this. Of course, if you're not familiar, I would think anybody that is listening to the show would know what the heck Keep on the Borderlands is. If not, if you maybe just stumbled upon this show and you're like, what are they talking about? What is this Keep on the Borderlands thing? This, of course, is the one of the most classic, I would say, D&D modules ever produced. It was printed in December 1979. It is B2. So if you ever hear anybody talking about Dungeon Module B2, that was Keep on the Borderlands.
Now, my thing on Keep of the Borderlands was that since I was very early starter on D&D, I was playing AD&D instead of any of the box sets. So I pretty much skipped most of the box sets. So I didn't do any of the B module series as a result.
Right. I didn't. The only one I did B1 and did B2, but we played them in AD&D though.
Yeah.
The DM I had at the time just like converted them to AD&D, which back then it was really easy to do. I mean, it's not so bad to convert modules now to like 5e. You can take all these old modules and convert them to 5e fairly easy. But back then it was way easier to do because you really didn't have to do a lot of work because there wasn't a lot of difference
I think,
between.
yeah, but did they bifurcate a couple of years afterwards? D&D versus AD&D, did they bifurcate during the later parts of
Later on,
second ed?
yes,
Because
yes, they did.
I saw some of the classes and stuff like this, but level one, I don't think there are enough differences to really.
No, no. So yeah, so I can't say I did actually play this module, but once again, it was in AD&D, so I didn't actually play it, from the box set. I own the box set. I did buy it like years later, just so I can say that I have it. Never actually ran it. That is one thing I would like to do. I would like to actually run this, either run it or play in it, actual, like actual just out of the box set, play it the way it was meant to be played. But we're kind of getting into tabletop and not DDO here, but that's
Right.
okay because that's what we do on the show. That's another thing that's great about the show. We get sidetracked and we go off the rails easily every episode. Everybody knows that by now.
Yeah.
But back to DDO and Keep on the Borderlands. November the 13th, this came out. This gave us the Borderlands Wilderness area. Also, we got some new quests: the Bugbear Bandits, Cage Beast, Hobgoblin Horde, Obstructing the Orcs, Total Chaos, Treasure Hunt, and Violent Delights. And Watch Your Step. What was interesting about this pack was it's level 1 to 2 on Heroic and 21-22 on Epic.
Which
So
means
If you want to skip Korthos, you can.
Yeah, that is Drax ticket out of Korthos. Yes.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is. So if I ever make a new level 1 character, guess where I'm going? It's not Korthos.
Well, you have to go in there long enough in order to talk to the NPC that sends you out,
Well,
right?
that is true. Technically, you have to run through the grotto, and then after you get done with the grotto, you can say, "Hey, take me to that key place," and then you're like, "Hey, look, I don't have to do Korthos ever again." It's a happy day. We also got horses.
Yeah.
Yay, horses! I guess. I don't know. I'm still not. Still have. I don't know. I still don't know about the whole horse thing. Mainly because I don't have one yet. And then we had
Oh, you don't have one. Oh, well,
no,
that does.
no.
Well, that's the problem is that's the one problem with Keep on the Borderlands is finding all of those, getting out into the wilderness and finding all those rares so that you can actually get those, get that mount. Because I certainly
Y-
haven't found enough rares there.
yep, and I find some rares, but guess what? Feathers are
They
not
rarely drop
dropping. Yeah,
feathers.
yeah. So stupid RNG and all of that. Hey, our first stupid RNG comment of the year. Yay, achievement unlocked. Of course, we got new named items. Then you had some items you could trade for. You get drops as you're doing the quest, and then you can take those and trade those for items, which the items you could trade for were really good for level 1 and 2. A lot of them had like Ghost Bane on them, some other things. So,
Oh
really,
yeah.
really, really good items. So, if you have a level 1 or 2 character, well, the 21 and 22 versions aren't that bad either, actually. But definitely good loot out of here. I liked all the quests. The major things I liked about these quests is they were short and sweet.
Oh yes.
Most of them are maybe 5 minutes, if that.
Well, I don't think it's quite that short, but
Five,
they go well
five to
enough that they're
10, maybe.
filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The let's see, which one is it? I can't remember which one. And you really don't have to do them in any order, so that's why I can never
Yeah.
remember which one. The one,
There's one that's level 2. There is one that's level 2.
yeah, the total. I think that's Total Chaos.
Yeah.
That might be the one that is level 2, and that one is the longest one, and that one is a bit challenging.
And it does have where there's a possibility of pick up a couple of things that could be used at the
Right,
end game of that.
and that
I
is
still
an.
haven't completely figured out how you to use those things, but that's another matter.
Well, I know how to use them, but I never find them in the other quest.
Ah, well, I think I found one. And each time I've gone through there, I've found exactly one during the time I'm doing the other
Yeah, and see,
quest.
and that's. I think I found one, which is the Cobalt Amulet. I think is the only one that I've
Right.
ever found.
And when we did the, I think it was the Bugbear. Was it the Bugbear? No, it's the one with the Knolls. Violent Delights. When we did
Yeah,
Violent Delights, so we got the Knoll one when we did that one.
right. Yeah. So that's the only one. But yeah, what happens is you get crest in the other quest, and then if you save those crests, sorry, and then you take them in to Total Chaos. They towards the end of the quest, there's a room that you will go in, and then there'll be places where you can place those crests, and then other things will happen. Uh, it's like I said, I've only ever done the one because I've only ever had the one, and that was with you. I've never actually found the others. I've read on the forums and stuff. People are saying, "Oh, those drop everywhere in the quest." Okay.
What else is new?
Then again, stupid RNG. Oh, I'm just totally blinded. Don't pay attention. It could be that too. But overall, what are your major impressions of Keep on the Borderlands?
Oh yes, very definitely a very nice area. It's, let's just say that I have a goal that's going to involve Keep on the Borderland. So obviously,
Ooh,
I
okay.
like the area. So I did like the area very much, and like going into there. And I suppose that even though I I don't mind Corthos as much as you. I mean, this is.
That's pretty well established too at this point, I think.
Yeah, I go to the work. Besides, it's a nice vast wilderness where maybe I can do some exploration on a certain thing that, well, I guess I paid for my horse.
So now the truth comes out.
Well, I think I mentioned that before.
No, yeah, you did, yeah. The big thing I can say is Standing Stone has a way of bringing these classic modules into DDO, and they do them well.
Yeah, if you told me that someone could do that into a video version and it works well,
Yep,
really? Yeah, but they've done it to Ravenloft, they've done it to White Plume Mountain, they've
yep.
done it.
So far, they have not done a classic module bad. We'll see.
We hope they do not break their streak.
I hope not, because Isle of Dread is next, supposedly. So don't screw that up, SSG. Don't screw that up.
Well,
We'll see, though. And that pretty much was DDO in 2019. Other than, of course, we did have Hardcore League. We talked about it on the show already. We can kind of mention it here because since this is the year-end wrap-up. You played to level 5,
right.
and then you quit.
I quit while I was ahead.
Right. I actually was trying to get the Bleeding Eyes cosmetics in the 1750 favor. Never made it, unfortunately. I died 4 times? 3 times? 4 times? 4 times, I think. Made it to like level 11 for the highest. I was like 11, 10, 9, and I think 7, 8 maybe. So kind of got mid levels before I died. My highest was 11. And that is a death that I'm still really, really upset about. Because you can go back into a show. I don't remember the episode. I'll see if I can figure out the episode and put it in the show notes. But yeah, that was a death that shouldn't have happened, but it happened anyway. But that's neither here nor there. Hardcore League is over. It's fine. I'm not bitter. It's fine. Hardcore League's coming again. So still haven't decided if I'm going to participate. We'll see.
Oh, I know my answer for that one.
You're waiting with bated breath for it to start, right?
So that will lighten the load on the rest of the servers.
Okay, that's funny. All right. As we always do, since we've just looked back over the year in DDO, now we kind of give our opinions on what we thought was the best update of 2019.
Is there going to be a shock here?
Probably not, and I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be shocked that we're going to agree on this.
Right, because my pick was update 44. Keep on. Was it? Didn't last year? Wasn't last year that we chose White Plume Mountain? So this
Yes.
year is choosing
Yep.
keep. So it looks like these classic modules. Because the year before that, it's obvious it was Ravenloft.
Was Ravenloft, yeah. So far, we are on a streak of always picking the classic module. That might change next year. Who knows? Stay tuned for the year in 2020 review, and we'll see.
See what happens on the Isle of Dread. No,
If we still, yeah, that's right. Like I said, SSG, I'm begging you, don't screw up Isle of Dread. One of my favorite classic modules ever, besides Ravenloft. Don't screw it up.
Yeah, but that was expert set, meaning from the box set. So
right, yeah.
I never did that one. Yeah.
I never knew you didn't do much with the box sets. That's interesting.
I think I had the very, 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 very first box set to see what they were doing, but I was pretty much AD&D.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
You know,
interesting.
except for the now when I see no the boxes, I did do the original box set, the one with Greyhawk,
Okay.
Blackmore,
Yeah.
and an Eldritch Wizard. And I mean, actually, those were the expansions. I meant Men in Magic, Monsters and Treasures, and
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, of
Warcraft.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, I had that box set, but not the not the ones that came when they introduced the basic Dungeons and Dragons and the like.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Then, since we said what our favorite update of the year was, what do we think was the best non-raid or SWAT slash quest thing that was added to DDO in 2019? So
Now, yeah,
this could be anything other than a raid or a quest.
this one's a lot tougher because I'm looking at what we got here.
So, I mean,
They
you
fall
could
because
pick
well, I'm
mounts.
right because that's what I was wondering because that
Yeah.
choice was Inquisitive or Mount, but it sounds like since I really haven't played the Inquisitive, I don't really use the Mount all that much. Because I do forget that I've got the thing
Right.
because
Well, yeah,
I
because we're not used to having them. So, yeah.
we're not used to having them, and usually when I'm in a wilderness area, I'm going around trying to kill stuff and stuff like that, so I'm not on the
Right.
Mount.
Right.
But I really didn't use the Inquisitive all that much. I never got into it, so I'm going to say mounts anyway, because that shows you that we're
Okay.
rather low on stuff. Because I know what your favorite's going to be. That's
Again,
obvious.
nobody is going to be shocked when I'm going to say tiefling.
Right.
Because how long have I been waxing poetic about needing a tiefling in DDO? We could probably go back from about the beginning of the show, probably. I would have to go back, but I bet soon after the show started, I have been talking about wanting a tiefling in DDO. So yes, I think they did well. Other than I'm still gonna bitch, and I realize it is not their fault. They were asked to remove them, but I'm still gonna bitch about losing the small horns for the tieflings. I digress, though. It's fine.
Okay.
What are we looking forward to most in DDO in 2020?
Now, this one is a little bit tougher
Right, because we
because,
really don't know
yeah,
much what's coming yet.
yeah, we would have to most likely really answer this question when the producer's letter comes out
True.
because,
We'll have a better roadmap for 2020 after the
yeah,
producer's letter, which will be when? Question mark.
yeah. I mean, other than being pretty sure that there's going to be a classic pack, what do we know about?
Hardcore League 2
Oh yeah, like we're
and
going to look for that.
Classic Pack, and we do know that the why am I drawing a blank? The Alchemist is coming.
Oh,
That's about the only three things that we really, really know.
I'm changing mine to Alchemist.
And yeah, I was torn on either Alchemist or the next Classic Pack, which they've kind of already strongly announced. I mean, they really haven't announced it, but they've strongly worded and said the name several times that it's going to be Isle of Dread.
Yeah, my big
So,
thing is A, of course, I haven't done Ala Dread before, and
right.
B, the other thing that makes me wonder about the Ala Dread is, all right, what level range do they make it when they do announce it? If they make it around the range of the original one, so almost a follow-up to Keep of the Borderlands, then in a way,
My
then
my thinking is what they're going to do is I would assume that it's going to pick up right after Keep on the Borderlands. So you can do Keep on the Borderlands and then you can go into Isle of Dread.
if they do that,
So it'll
that's going to
be,
shoot up in my list.
yeah, it'll be, I'm just guessing. Of course, I have no insider information. I know nothing. This is just my feeling.
Yeah.
My opinion on it is I think what they should do is have it go right after Keep on the Borderlands. So Keep on the Borderlands is 1 and 2. They should have Isle of Dread be 3, 4, 24, 25.
Now I noticed that the original Isle of Dread module was 3 to 7, but then this is DDO, so they usually
Yeah. I mean,
switch it up a little bit. Yes.
they could do three,
Yeah.
four, 3, 5, maybe.
Yeah. So the idea then
It
is
depends how many quests we get out of it, but yeah.
right. The key
That's what
then,
I would like to see them do. I'll
yeah,
put it that way. I think that's
yeah,
what should be done. Because if they want to stick with the classic module in in the vein of what it was, kind of like what they did with Borderlands, that's what I think they should do. They should look at those level ranges and give
right.
us something else to do in those like 3 to 5-ish level range.
Yeah. So that would be my hope on the matter is that it does go out to be three to
But
seven and or 3 to 5, as you were saying, is more likely, so that it would be
yeah,
a nice place for us to go.
but see, I was just thinking though,
Yeah.
if they would, they could really push the whole classic D&D thing. We could do Keep on the Borderlands 1 and 2,
Right.
Isle of Dread 3 to 7,
Yeah.
Temple of Elemental Evil at
Ooh.
level 7, Slave Lords at level
Eight. Eight.
8. See? Ravenloft at level 10. Right there from level 1 to 10, you can play classic D&D and DDO. That would be amazing. You could just stay in the classics all the way up to level 10. Okay, that's amazing. Make that happen, SSG. That is an amazing idea. I love that idea. We'll see.
Because you so yeah, so you got everything, something for every level.
Yeah, because then once you're done with Ravenloft, you can move on to other stuff.
No, the only problem is, of course, is that the Temple of Elemental Evil, that final boss fight.
Well, yeah, it was no piece of cake in the actual module either, but
Well, yes, but it was the grand finale to one of the great classic
true.
dungeons.
Very,
So,
very true. Okay, so now's the time when we look back at our DDO resolutions for last year and how well we succeeded and how well we failed miserably.
oh, very well. So it
So
looks like,
we will start with Pine Leaf
all right then.
because you are our saving grace here. Spoiler alert, mine's not going to be very good. So let's get the happy and the yay, we did it out of the way. So, Pine Leaf, one of your DDO resolutions were to get your Dragonborn Artificer to level 20.
Yeah, the Dragonborn Artificer to level 20, and I managed to do that on the night before we were originally scheduled to broadcast this episode.
Okay.
You know,
Like
mm,
2 weeks ago or whatever it was at this point. Yeah.
right, yeah, 2 weeks ago. So
3 weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Things happened.
Right? Oh, no,
Sickness.
actually, it was. Oh no, that was 1 week ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah,
You are
yeah.
right.
So
Yes.
I finished it on. Yeah, I finished on December 29th. I managed to just get up there, and it was a slot. Level 19 is a slot. When they do the non-classic dungeon for this year, I hope it covers level. Well, let's see, because we've got Sharn for 15, 16, and 17 now. So the
Yeah.
18 and 19 are what we need to cover now. Because,
Well,
yeah.
you should be out in Evening Star by then.
Well, yes, but that's eating. But the trouble is that the storm horns are. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry. I
yeah.
just don't like the storm horns. And I was thinking almost, oh, actually, I'll go into this later on the details of this. But
Okay.
I'll just, yeah, on what I did there because I do have that down for what I did
Okay.
last week.
All right.
So I'll go into it then. But okay, yes, I got my Dragonborn to level 20.
All right. So check success
Okay,
on your first
right,
resolution. Your other ones were involving other things other than DDO.
right,
So in tabletop, you had Eon's End, the Legacy, completing the campaign.
right. Now, there is one little because I got I got my copy because last year we had our year-end special early.
Right.
So we had it, I think, more than a week before the end of the
It was,
year.
yeah, it was. I think we recorded it like right after Christmas.
Right,
So we
because
kind of
we
had like a
just
week, yeah.
well, we recorded it just the week before Christmas because Christmas Eve was on Monday that year,
Okay.
and I think
You're
we
right.
either
Yep.
we either recorded on Christmas Eve or the week before Christmas. I can't
I
remember
think it
which
was
one
a
it
week
was.
before Christmas we did
Right.
it.
So therefore, we had all we. It was very early then that we
Yes.
recorded it, and I finished the campaign before the end of 2018.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Alrighty then.
so it's hard to say. So I finished one of my 2019 goals before it was 2019.
Okay. Well, check for that one then. So you're two
Yeah.
for two. Good
And in
job.
fact, so in some ways, I was wondering maybe I should have considered my my goal to have been play through the expeditions of ants and the New Age when they came out. But well, I blew that one out of the water anyway. Also, so it's
Well, okay.
yeah.
So far, so good then.
Guess what my favorite game is?
Yeah. I would have no idea.
Yeah,
Your other one was a tabletop goal as well. That was Arkham Horror Card Game. 5 campaigns of that.
play 5 campaigns of Arkham Horror card game. Now, I had at the time we were originally going to record this 3 done, and I thought that the goal was 10. So I just that's because of another thing that I did that I think I said on our first show after our original one where he said what our resolutions were. So
Oh right,
our
yeah we did kind of have like a mid-year.
no, it wasn't a mid-year thing. This was in January when we came back from January where I did a revision on what my plans were.
Oh, I was thinking we did that later on. I didn't realize it was just in January,
No,
but
I
okay.
well no, you didn't do one. I did it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh yeah, yes. And I included these things in the goals that I had
Oh,
with the
gotcha. Okay.
yeah. And anyway, for Arkham Horror the card game, 5 campaigns, and let us just say I learned that I have certain limits to how much I could take Arkham Horror before before it gets to me.
That's pretty much any Cthulhu game.
Yeah, any
Any
Cthulhu game.
any Cthulhu based game you can only do for so long before you're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
need a break from this.
So I got 3 of them done during the course of the year. I decided to try another one right after our original broadcast date for this episode
Mm-hmm.
last weekend on the last 2 days of the year, on the Monday and Tuesday, on the day before New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve, I started another campaign. I didn't finish it before the end of the year, so I didn't count that. So in fact, I don't think I even finished that campaign. I just did the first 2 of those in there. As I said, I had the limit because I wanted to get to my shiny new 2020 stuff when
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
right.
Not
So
yeah,
I
okay.
sort of dropped that.
All right.
But anyway, so I got a total of 3 out of 5 done is what I'm going to call that.
Not bad. All right. So almost succeeded. And
Yeah,
then your final goal looks like it was over in the sister game to DDO, which is Lotro. You want to
right.
get your Anor Warden, which Anor, if you're not familiar, is the classic legacy server for Lotro.
Legendary server is what
Yep.
they call them there.
Okay. But you wanted to get your Warden to halfway to Skirmisher of Middle Earth. How'd you do on that?
I made that goal on the assumption that I didn't know when they would have all the skirmishes open.
Right, and I
That
do remember you talking about that when you were setting that goal. You said that depends on when they get stuff released, so the
skirmishes
skirmishes
are
are available. Right.
right, and I think they opened up the last of the skirmishes in I think it was in the summertime, which meant that I've completed Skirmisher Middle Earth all the way through.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so therefore, I didn't just get halfway. I managed to get the entire thing done because they had all the skirmishes open, so I was able to do it. So that's the only reason I did not say get all the way through is I didn't know whether or not they'd have them all open up or
Yeah,
not.
and I kind of remember you saying that too when we recorded last year for the show.
Yeah.
So overall, I would say you did smashingly well with your resolutions.
Now there was one, as I said, I did modify this slightly in January, where what it is, I decided to create a set of 12 different categories with 10 points to each one.
Oh, now I remember that. Yes, you did.
Yes, and these things, the getting Dragonborn Artificer to level 20 was one of them. I started out as level 10, and getting to level 20, I would have gotten 1 point per level. So getting up to level 20 would have given me 10 for that. Therefore, I had a maximum total score that I could get would be 120. My goal was to get at least 100 from that. And let's see, I think it's, and I managed to get about 100. Here is the list here. My final score is 108, which was, and where I failed was that in Arkham, I got 3 points because in that thing I changed the number of campaigns to 10 for this particular version of it. And you see, if I didn't get five, I wasn't going to get 10. And the other one where I fell a little short was that I had a second DDO goal to get the a level 5 character I had to level 15. And that was the one I was running with you. But
Right.
then Sharn happened.
Yeah. Yep.
So because Sharn happened, we didn't get a chance to finish leveling up those characters. So that gave me a total of 108, and that included all the ones I already said. I also had a couple of other things in there, such as some stuff with Minecraft, some stuff with getting at least 10 new games. I had a lot of new games. And let's see, and something with Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle and Warfighter, and DDO Adventure game where I was playing the. But I was trying to go through a bunch of the year trying to decide which campaign I was going to do at least 10 adventures in one of them. I eventually did Tomb of Annihilation for that one.
Oh, okay. So, but overall, I think you as always, as you tend to always do, you succeeded with your DDO goals.
All right. Yeah, I think that worked fairly well. So let's go into yours, where for your first thing you had to do was get to level 28, I think,
Yep. Any character, level 28.
and to do the haunted halls.
Correct.
And I can't remember what the haunted halls is.
It's another classic pack. Set in Evening Star.
Well,
Uh,
that explains a lot.
another, yeah, it's another one of my most. It's one of my top 5 classic modules of D&D of all time.
Oh, and that's epic only?
Yes, that's level 27. I want to say. I think it's 27.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to beat around that. So yes, nope, failed. Wah, wah. My highest level character right now is 23.
23.
So I got from 20 to 23. Or I'm sorry, 19 to 23. So
I know how much of a slog 19 to 20 is, so.
so not 28. Still have yet to set foot in the haunting halls of Evening Star. One day.
Ah,
One glorious sweet day. I will be level 28 and I will run Haunted Halls of Evening Star. One day.
one day.
Today was not that day. This year was not that, or last year was not that year. This year, maybe, We'll see.
Then
It
let's have a look at your tabletop goals, right?
okay?
Where it looks like you wanted to run Betrayal Legacy.
Correct. Did not even open it.
Didn't even open it. You need a. The biggest thing here, though, is you have to get with a group that's gonna
Right. And it was supposed to
regularly play
be
that,
my friend and his kids.
right?
And his kids, well, one of them is involved in high school sports.
Oh, you'll never get through that.
So yeah, that we could never find any time to do it, unfortunately.
And and when you say high school sports, you mean he has at least one sport in every season.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. So yeah. Nope. That was a fail.
Yeah, yeah. And Betrayal is very definitely not one that you try to solo. So,
Right. No, that you definitely need a group for. And I need 72 hours. The legacy part of Betrayal takes 72 hours. So I could not find 72 hours with my friend and his kids that would work. I still would love to do this. And I know he listens to the show. So it is on him now to find 72 hours so we can make
uh,
this happen.
well, I will presume this kid, of course, has summer sports camps when school's not in
Yes.
session.
We need to make it happen somehow, though. But yeah,
All
so
right.
nope, failed that one.
Very well. Then how about completing all the adventures in Castle Ravenloft?
No. I
How many of
did
them have you done?
3. I'm sorry, 4. I've done 4.
You've done now, is that in all time or just for this year?
This year. I did actually complete 4 this year.
Oh, now was the goal to complete all 13 of them
Yes.
this year, or was the goal
Yes.
to okay.
The goal was to complete all 13 this year.
All right.
So that is another big fat fail.
Hmm.
So overall, I get a wah wah.
Well, then let's see if we can do better next year.
There's always this year, Pineley.
There's always this year.
All right. So in Dungeons and Dragons Online, it looks like you have a couple goals that you've set for yourself.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for DDO this year?
Right. My first one is going to be an echo of something that I did with the Temple of Elemental Evil when that came out, and that is to try run all classes and all races through Keep on the Borderlands.
Okay. Which you have previously kind of done something like this with Temple before.
I did something like that with the
Okay.
Temple, and did I do that with any? I know I did it for Temple. I was trying to think if
Okay.
I did it for anything else. I might have done something with Korthos, but I don't think quite on that
And
level.
now,
But anyway,
when you say all classes and races, do you mean every class and race, or just ones that you have available to you?
well, I'm trying to think. Are there any that I don't have available to me?
Well, do you have Blade Forged? Because like that's
Isn't
one
Blade Forged an iconic?
that is one that you have to buy though. And then like Half
But
Orc is a race that you have to buy.
let's see, half orc. I'm trying to think
So
if I have. I think I might have half orc from points or something like that. Either that or I bought it at some.
okay.
I might have bought it for when I was doing the thing with the Temple of Elemental
Oh,
Evil.
maybe yeah. I think you did buy a lot of the stuff then when you were doing the Elemental Evil. So
Yeah, there's a possibility I might do some of these on a different server, and if it's one that required me to unlock like the Drow, I would have to do it on my main server.
right. Okay.
But I might do some of the others on so I won't have to have so much of a hit on my
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Interesting.
tight on my character slots right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have plenty of other servers to choose from too. So
Right, so I got plenty of those. So I'll probably do a lot of them on different servers and see how it goes on there and see whether or not I can get them all there. all classes and all races. So
Okay.
therefore, that means that I'll be saying, okay, I'll do this character. Now, one of the things I'm going to try to do, assuming I remember it, is to see is that the first time I try each of the dungeons, it's going to be without a hireling. If I find I can't get through it without a hireling, then I'll bring a hireling for a second attempt on it. But that's going to be my rule, and that is at least try each of them without a hireling. I know there's some classes where it should be easy, and some classes where it could be a problem. But we're talking about level 1 and 2 here,
Yeah.
so I think I'll be able to get most classes through it.
Bring your little pocket healer with you.
Well, I mean, without the pocket healer, because
Right, right, right. No.
right, yeah.
All right. Well, that's an interesting goal. I like that. That'll be
All
interesting
right,
to
so
hear
that'll
your
be one.
exploits through that through the year.
And we'll see here the exploits on how to do that. And then start a new character and seriously learn how to survive. Because
Interesting.
you
Okay.
know how brittle I am.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea here then is I am not going to have a level goal for this because the idea here is to get the character. This is going to be a first lifer. So it's not like I'm going to TR a character go through a second life, which
Right.
would get
Right.
you. So
Exactly.
this will be a first lifer. Now I do have 32-point characters unlocked, so I
Okay.
do have
Well,
that little advantage.
that should help a little bit then.
That should help a little bit, but first life and see if I can learn how to better survive because okay, I can survive through the first 5 or 6 levels, maybe even 7, but as soon as I get to levels after that, things start to get really tough for me. So the idea here is to learn how to build my character better so that I can effectively have a surviving character.
Okay.
As I said, no level goal because,
Right.
well,
you're
if I'm pushing it, then I'm
right.
not going to learn.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, that's a very interesting, I think, fun little goal for you.
All right, so my goal is learn to play.
Okay. Sweet. Learn to play DDO. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Figured you've done this podcast long enough. It's about time you know how to play.
About time I do it, yes.
Makes perfect sense to me. Okay, and then how about your non DDO goals, which looks like this year are mainly tabletop games?
Yeah, right, because I'm not listing Lotro goals because that's for the other show.
Makes sense. Okay.
And so I'll just leave that for the other goal and for the other one. And I'm not going to set any definite Minecraft goals, especially with last year with Minecraft. My goals actually had to change over the course of the year because one of them was to run 10 mage rages. I mean, not mage rages, base races. And last year there were no base races. So I instead ran something called Mage Rage that was done by the same person because it was the same style, same person. So I figured that was a good fair substitute to do on the matter. And in fact, in that one, instead of doing 10 of them, I had to do 40 of them because there were 4 a month, and I think it would have been unfair to claim 10 of them in that case.
Right.
So I said I'd do 10 months of them worth. But I'm not going to put any Minecraft goals for this year because who knows what's going to happen when things like that. Because when you're dependent on someone else, especially when something being released or something like that, it gets tough to do a goal for it. But we'll begin with Castle Ravenloft because when I read that goal that you had for last year about doing all of Castle Ravenloft, I thought there are some adventures in Castle Ravenloft that I don't think I've run yet. Now, in 2018, I ran adventures 1 through 8, and I thought maybe it's about time that I run 9 through 13
Okay.
and see if I can finish these. I'm pretty sure I did not do 12 and 13 yet, at the very least. So I figure I'll run 9 through 13 and see if I can finish them all.
I'm telling you right now, 13 is tough.
I didn't necessarily mean that I would survive
Well,
and win.
okay. I'm just,
I, that,
I assumed you meant at least play them, go through them, try to complete them. Okay, right.
Try
Yeah,
to complete
13's
them.
tough.
If 13's tough, then I might say, should I just add a couple extra healing surges to have some hope?
Might not be a bad idea.
That'd be a bad idea. And in fact, there was one year when I was doing things where actually that was how I was scoring myself, is I would give myself 5 healing surges and give myself a score based on how many healing surges I had at the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, a perfect run through for a particular dungeon was 5
Gotcha.
because I had 5 left at the end of the session. Then also there is something called, as someone puts out every once in a while, something that they call on the Board Game Geek called solo cons. And one person called Roger puts out something called Roger's solo cons there. And I was watching them from the sidelines last year, occasionally seeing where the interesting themes he comes from, something like that. Because what he does is he comes up with a theme for it, and you try to play games that fit along in that theme. And I thought I'll set as a goal to participate in 6 of these. Now he usually puts out, I guess, about 2 a month. So
Okay.
therefore, there are 24 of them. I say participate in at least 6 of them because sometimes the theme might not ring with me, so I might not participate in those. So let's see, find at least 6 of them to participate in and see how I do on those. Now, the first one this year is called New Beginnings. It's New Year's Day. And I did actually already run 3 games relating to that, and I'll go through that and what I did last week on that. So I am participating in this first one. So that'll be the first of the 6. The number 3 then is participate, or I should say, get all the way through a new solo marathon. I participated in this solo marathon in 2018, and I was the last one to register, which means I wound up getting a character that I was so completely unable to not work well with. And so I didn't do all that too well. But this year, you're actually bringing 2 characters, and one of them is a character that you built in Aeon's End Legacy because it's going to be based on Aeon's End Legacy,
Okay.
and the other one is one of the ones from the first 2 waves. And I was the second person to register because I wanted to get in. I wanted to make sure I didn't
Gotcha.
with the
Yep. Makes
characters
sense.
I didn't work with her. So I got in early in the, and I selected a character. So now I have my character selected in there, and I'll be ready to participate that, which is expected to start in February. It'll run probably through August. So we'll see how that operates. But my goal
Okay.
there is to see how well I do in this little Ian's End solo marathon for this year. So run through all of the sessions of that. And then number 4 is to generate a top 100 solo games list. And there is another note in there, is that for a game to be in my top 20, I must play that game this year in 2020. So I can't, so I won't be able to put on the list something that I said, well, I really like this game, but I didn't have a chance to play it this year. No, no. If I want to put that into my top 20, I must play that
You
game
must
this
have
year.
played it. Okay.
Right. So we'll see how that goes, how successful I could do that in having a nice top 100 games list for solo.
Okay.
And that is my set of goals for 2020. So let's go into yours.
All right. DDO wise, there's going to be an echo. Echo. Echo.
Go ahead, Echo. Oh,
Everybody's going to say, hey, haven't I not heard this before? This sounds awfully familiar.
what, you're going to play a lot of Keep on the Borderlands?
Yeah, sure. That's it. No. Level 28.
Okay.
Okay. I might actually do it this year, though.
Ooh.
because
Yeah.
my thought process on this is I'm level 23 right now. Over on Wayfinder, we have the static group with Rent and Tay and Lessa.
Right.
We try to play at least once a week. We should be able to get from 23 to 28 by playing
Oh,
once a week.
but how is this the same group that you played to get from 19 to 23?
Yes.
So you only got 4 levels there. So you'll get to 27.
I think we can push it to 28 though.
Oh, especially since you want to play that module that's at level 27.
Right. So I think I might actually hit the level 28 goal this year. So we'll see. I
We'll
didn't
see.
actually include Haunted Halls of Evening Star this year. This my main goal is just level 28, which I think it's going to be doable because all we're doing right now is, well, I can't say all because sometimes we don't do epics, but we're mainly just playing epic stuff. And we're getting a crap ton of XP when we do it. So I think I might be able to do this level 28 goal. We'll see. Hopefully, this time next year, we can say I'm level 28. Or maybe I'll be higher. I don't know. I'm just shooting for 28, though. We'll see. Hopefully. So that is really my only DDO goal. I'm just giving one goal, and I'm going to really concentrate on that this year. So I thought about adding a couple others, and I thought, you know what? Nope, I'm just going to stick with the level 28. I want to do it. I think it's doable this year just because I actually have a group that is actually actively doing a lot of epic stuff. So we'll see what happens. So Rent, Tay, and Lessa, I'm going to need your help with this goal. And on the tabletop, I have a couple goals. I have 3 main tabletop goals this year for my tabletop gaming. Number 1 is Gloomhaven. I don't own Gloomhaven.
You don't own Glue because this has to be the tabletop version.
Right.
See.
No, I was going to clarify that. Not the video game, because I was graciously surprised gifted the video game over the Christmas holiday and the Steam sale. I got it as a gift, so I have the video game version. Does
But
not
you at
count.
least use it to learn how to play it. So
Right.
you know how to play the game
Exactly.
when you get it. Yes.
I'll be ready. Right. So not the video game. I want to actually buy Gloomhaven and play Gloomhaven.
Okay.
So that is my one of my tabletop goals. So we'll see how I do on that. Because as you know, I've talked about last year on the show, I save money to buy Gloomhaven because every once in a while it goes on sale pretty darn cheap. And it's a pretty good deal. And I save money for it, and then something always happens, and I have to spend that money on something else. Like I have a bill that comes due, or something happens, something like that. And all that Gloomhaven money that I put aside, I have to spend on other stuff. So, yeah, I know. Real life, right? What in the world? So, buy Gloomhaven and start to play Gloomhaven. So, we'll see how that goes. Another tabletop goal I have is for Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth. I want to get that to the table, and I want to go through at least 3 of the adventures in there. I have the game. I did like an unboxing video on it, and that's the only time I've opened the box. So I really, really want to play it. I've been watching playthrough videos. I've been reading about it, and I'm like, oh, this game sounds so good. I can't wait to play this. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to make that a goal. I'll probably do it solo if, like, I have a friend over or whatever. You know, we might play it. But just as long as I play 3 of the adventures in Journeys to Middle Earth. And then my final tabletop goal is I want to play D&D around a table, not online, because I do a lot of online D&D playing via Fantasy Grounds, which I love. But I want to get my group of friends together, which if you have listened to the show, are affectionately called the Undmmables because, well, they're just bunch of asshats, and they're undmable. But they're my friends. What are you going to do? I want to get them together at least 2 times this year. And I want to
Okay.
actually run some D&D with them. I want to DM some D&D. But one of those D&D games that I want to do with my friends is going to be some old school D&D. It might be Zero Edition. It might be Expert. It might be First Edition. I don't know yet. But want to run some old school D&D with my friends actually around a table. So 2 times during this year, I want to DM for my friends, and one of those times is going to be some classic D&D.
Okay.
That's my goal. So not too crazy. We'll see. Like I said, the DDO goal of hitting level 28 this year, I kind of feel confident that I'm going to do it. My other ones I think are pretty doable as well. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but those are my goals. So hopefully next year I actually won't fail miserably like I did this year.
We could only hope.
We can indeed.
Then we have gone through our goals. Let's actually look at some news. We'll start with seeing what's coming in from the dungeon. And we'll begin with Humble RPG Book Bundle The Lord of the Rings 5e by Cubicle 7.
If you remember, just a couple weeks ago, we talked about how Cubicle 7, say that a couple times fast, lost the license for their Lord of the Rings 5e and One Ring. So that's the Adventures of Middle Earth and then their One Ring RPG. They no longer have the Lord of the Rings license. You have, as of this recording, 8 more days to pick up these PDFs. I would highly suggest picking up this bundle if you want these games. This is stupid cheap. For $15, you can get the entire Adventure in Middle Earth books via PDF. You can have everything Cubicle 7 has done. If you don't want everything, there's a couple different tiers, like of all Humble Bundles. For $1, you can get the Player's Guide. You can get the Eves of Mirkwood adventure, and then so on and so forth, and you can go up. But for $15, you can get every book they have done. Of course, this is by a PDF, of course. So as I said, you have 8 days as of this recording. So for $1 or more, if you just want to do the dollar tier, it's the Eves of Mirkwood, the Rovanian Region Guide, and the Player's Guide. So you get 3 of those for $1. If you pay $8 or more, you can also get The Road Goes Ever On, the Mirkwood Campaign, Wilderness Adventures, and the Lore Master's Guide, which is basically the DM's Guide. So that's for $8. And then for $15, you can round out the collection and get the final books, which is the Erebor Adventures, the Lonely Mountain Region Guide, the Breland Region Guide, the Eredor Adventures, and the Rivendell Region Guide. So highly, highly suggest you do this if you're interested. This is your last chance. I can't stress that enough. If you want to get these at a decent price, well, the PDFs, this is your last chance. You still will be able to buy the books secondhand on the secondhand market, which right now I did look at prices and they're stupid already. So once you can't get the PDFs anymore, I'm sure they're going to get even more stupid. Yeah, the hardcover books are just going crazy on the secondhand market because Cubicle 7 can't sell them anymore. So just like these PDFs.
All
So
right.
8 days as of this recording, which is Monday, January the 6th, is when we record this. So by the time this releases, which will be on Wednesday, you will have 6 days. So jump on this. This is $222 worth of awesome Adventures of Middle Earth 5e goodness for as low as $1, as high as $15. Don't forget, these are DRM free, which is amazing. And some of your support for this will go to their charity of choice, which is the World Builders Fund. That is their choice. And if you happen to go through our link over on DDO Players, we are a Humble Bundle affiliate. So we'll get a little chunk of the money as well. You can also choose to donate to our charity of choice, which is the American Cancer Society. And you can pick how much that goes to us, how much it goes to the American Cancer Society, how much goes to Humble, and how much goes to Cubicle 7. So you can always adjust however you would like. But 6 days left to get in on some awesome PDFs for Adventures in Middle Earth. Do it. Do not hesitate. Just do it.
Then let's go and see what's on the tabletop. Where Marvel United coming from Simon and Spin Master Games. Marvel United?
Marble United. It is a marble game. It's coming
Oh, what a
from
shock.
yeah, it's coming from Come On. It's coming from Spin Master Games. It's coming to Kickstarter. It's going to make billions of dollars because it's a Come On game, so it's going to.
Well,
It's
these don't exactly look like your typical Marvel hero.
That's what I was going to say. This is a little different though, because this is based off of Come On's Arcadia Quest. So if you are familiar with that, you know it's chibi style. So if you are familiar with what chibis are, they got the little fat heads. They're kind of cute. They're kind of different looking. If you played Arcadia Quest, you're going to jump all over this. If you like Marvel, you're going to jump all over this. Let's be honest. This is going to make $1 billion because that's what Come On does on Kickstarter. They make money. This is really all that we know about it. We do know from the trailer for it that it's a little teaser trailer. This is going to feature Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Ultron, the Taskmaster, and the Red Skull for the villains. That is all we know. More information coming soon. Kickstarter coming soon. So if you're into chibis, if you're into Marvel, you'll want to check this out. We'll be sure to post once we have more information and once the Kickstarter is actually active. But that's Marvel United from Come On and Spin Master Games.
Then let's head into our week in gaming.
I didn't do much because I was sick.
Oh,
But we're gonna
damper it.
we're gonna kind of go back in time a little bit. So I'm gonna include kind of what I did over like the Christmas break because I did a lot of like tabletop playing.
I always include that anyway whenever
Okay, all right.
do the stuff. Yeah.
Well, then there we go. So if we go back in history, no video games for me, unfortunately. Like I said, I've been sick. This is like the first time I've done anything other than like come home from work and basically just go to bed. So this is a good day for me. So no video games. Hopefully this week I'll get some video game playing in. Did play in the past couple weeks though. I played some D&D online via Fantasy Grounds. And it was a little special Fantasy Grounds one. It was Dungeons and Dragons 1E. That's right. I played some old school D&D.
That is old school.
Over on D&D stream, we did classic D&D night,
Okay.
and we started a run through B1, which is In Search of the Unknown.
So when you say 1E, you're talking about the box series then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's kind of 1E with a little bit of some like 2E rules thrown in, so it's kind of a 1E, 2E mashup, but it's mainly more 1E than anything. And I mean, this is like old school, like THACO. Like it's amazing. I forgot how much fun old school D&D was. So I put a link in the show notes to the Twitch video for that if you want to check that out. That is going to be a continuing series on DDO stream. The players on it will rotate because it's never going to have like a set night that it's going to be on. It's basically going to be a filler show for D&D night on DDO stream. So what we'll do is we might actually do it live that night, or we might pre-record it. So depending on which that is, the players that played last time might not be the same players that play again. The actual characters that we're playing will always play, but it might be different players playing the characters, if that makes sense. And that, of course, is DM'd by Mr. Evil Beaker, who is the most amazing, wonderful DM ever in the history of D&D. There, I said it. You're welcome, Evil. You're welcome. And then tabletop-wise, I did do, as I said, over the Christmas break, played a lot of tabletop games with my family, as I usually do. I usually subject them to tabletop games, but it's pretty easy because my niece and her husband actually love tabletop games. So that's what we usually do during holidays or whatever. I usually go over to their house and bring some of my tabletop games, and they just love it because they get to play all these new games, and I get to like knock a lot of games out that I have to review. So it works. It works great both ways. We did play Horrified. I can't say enough about Horrified. It's just amazing. We played that with 3 monsters, which was really, really tough. We did Frankenstein and his bride, the Invisible Man, and the Mummy, I think is what we had. We lost horribly, but it was super, super fun. And then I did play Horrified again a different time with a couple of my friends that came over here. Then again, we played those same monsters. We did Frankenstein, his bride, the Invisible Man, and that time we had Dracula. And that game with my friends, we actually won. It came right down to the end, though. If you're familiar with Horrified, you lose the game and it's over when either you defeat all the monsters, your terror track gets all the way up, or you run out of cards. We were down to 2 cards left, and we actually defeated the final monster with 2 cards left. And our terror track was on, I think we were on 6 or 7. No, we were on 7, because if we had one more time that the terror track went up, we would have lost, or if we would have got through the 2 cards. So that one came right down to the end. If you have not played Horrified yet, do yourself a favor and play it somewhere. Better yet, just go buy it, because it is so good. And it's one of those great games to play with non-gamers, too. So if you know some non-gamers that maybe they played, like the only thing they know about tabletop gaming might be like Clue or Monopoly, something like that. This is a good like gateway game to get them in. It's easy to learn. It's very fun to play, kind of challenging to play. It doesn't play the same way twice. I played it like a handful of times. I probably played it 25 times at least by now, and no game has ever been the same. And I've lost many times and I've won many times, but like I said, each game is different. So definitely, I cannot recommend Horrified enough. And then with my niece and her husband, we played Chronicles of Crime. If you're not familiar with this is from Lucky Duck Games. This is a detective game where you are trying to solve cases. There's many different cases in it. And each of the cards have like QR codes on them. So you'll use the app, of course, that you'll download. And then you'll either use like your phone or a tablet, whichever you would like to do. and you're going to scan those QR codes, and it's going to give you clues. You're going to hear like the whatever you're looking at the time. Maybe if it's like a suspect, you will hear him talk, or you'll answer ask questions. You can choose questions to ask, and then he'll answer the questions, or he or she. There's different locations you can go to. You can get different items, but you always scan the QR codes, and that's what makes the game. So the game is never the same twice. We ran through two of these scenarios out of the book. The first one we finished with ease. The second one, these are timed. The second ones we had a half hour of game time left. So, and I haven't figured out exactly how long time goes in the game, but each action you do that takes time off. Like if you move to a different area on the board, that takes like 7 minutes of your game time or whatever. So, and you have 24 hours to solve the case. We did solve the second case, but we had like 30 minutes left. It came right down to the wire. So that is Chronicles of Crime. I'm going to play that some more just solo as well. It is a really fun game. So look for a full review of that coming soon to the site. And then the final thing that we played was from Cosmos, and that is one of their adventure games systems. And this is Monochrome Incorporated is the one that we went through. If you're not familiar with the adventure games, they are kind of like the Exit games. So they're kind of, the Exit style games where you're trying to solve something. The thing that's different about this one is you don't have a time limit. Usually in the Exit series of games from Cosmos, it's like an escape game, so you're timed. With the adventure games, you are not timed. And how this works is you have a deck of cards, and then you either have the storybook that you read from, or they do have an app that you can use, which will read out the story for you. We actually use the app. So you go through the story, and then the story of this is, I'm going to be kind of spoiler light here. The only thing I'm going to spoil is the point of the adventure. You were supposed to go into this Monochrome Incorporated, which is this high-tech company that is designing something, and the people that hired you were sent to break into this place and then find out about this thing and get the plans and get other stuff about this thing that they're designing, and then get back out. So that is your goal. So what you do is you go through these cards. So you start with card 1, and then it will say like, okay, you're in a room, and on the card you have cards that you lay down, and then there'll be different points on this card. Like there'll be like B1, B2, B3, B4. And then you can say you want to explore what's in B1. And like B1 on the card, there might be like a picture of, let's say, a desk. So you're thinking, there's probably something in that desk. So you go B1. So you look up B1 in the book, or you play it in the app, and it'll say, and once again, this is actually not in the adventure. I'm just making this part up, so I'm not going to spoil it. It'll say, you rifle through the desk page and you find a page with the word Apple written on it. So, and then it tells you to keep that card. So you're thinking, okay. So let's say further on, maybe down 2 rooms later, you find a computer. And like you say, okay, I want to investigate this computer. And let's say the computer is in room D, and it's section 1. So you look up D1, and it says you find a computer that's setting at a password prompt page. So when you're thinking, hey, I found that piece of paper back in that other room that said Apple. I wonder if Apple might be the password. So then you would type into the app, or use the book, however you want to do it. You would type in B1, D1, because you're combining the clue you got from B1 into D1. and then it'll say, the computer hums to life, or the computer says wrong password, try again. That's pretty much the gist of the game. So you're going through, you're exploring it. So it's kind of like a dungeon crawl, plus the fact that it's a puzzle escape type game. So you're trying to figure out the clues. You're trying to collect all this stuff. You're trying to figure out how this stuff fits together, how you can use the stuff together to solve the puzzles. So everything you find, more than likely you're going to need somewhere else, and you're going to need to combine it with something else. Some of the things we found, you actually had to combine two cards together to actually solve something. So there is another version of the adventure game out right now called Dungeon, which is your basic dungeon crawl. It's an actual dungeon crawl. I haven't played that one yet. I'm going to play that one probably solo. I'm going to try to play that this weekend. There are more series of these coming out from Cosmos. Right now, it's just Dungeon and Monochrome Incorporated, but look for a review of this coming as well. And that's pretty much what I have done in gaming in the past couple of weeks.
Guess that leaves it up to what I was doing. And let us begin with what I did in DDO, where I was playing my Dragonborn Artificer. First, I was in the Stormhorns Lines of Supply. And after Lines of Supply, I couldn't figure out how to reach the next dungeon. So, because you know how the Stormhorns are.
Well, yeah, it's a little difficult to get around. I
Right.
love the Storm mode so much, though.
So I headed into the Inspired Quarter and ran Eye of the Titan.
Wow, really?
Yeah. After that, I went to the Island of Forgotten Dreams and ran Reclaiming Memories, which was annoying due to the many incorporeal mobs and the holds they were doing and stuff like that.
Again, wow.
Yeah. Then I went into the Giant's Vault, and I don't know how well you remember the Giant's Vault, but that has all these finicky jumps in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've done that quest several times.
Yeah, so I ran the Giant's Vault. After doing the Giant's Vault, I went into the harbor and ran the Harbinger of Madness, so the Sinister Storage, Fear Factory, and In the Flesh.
Oh, I love all those quests. I always
Yeah.
forget about those quests because I hardly ever run them. But man, I love those quests.
Then here I was, I'm level 19, and I thought, oh well, I guess I'm in this area. I guess I'll just for giggles run the Tower of Frost again. Now I'm 5 levels above it, so it's
Gonna
like it's a
say,
bit ridiculous.
little over leveled, but sure, why not? We
But
all know
yeah,
how you love Tower of Frost, so it's fine.
yeah. So I ran that despite the fact I was taking a 75% hit on my XP,
True.
and I got through that. Then I couldn't find anything else to do, so I went back to the Stormhorns. I never found that next dungeon, but while I was doing Slayers and was in the landscape, I did manage to hit level 20,
Oh,
which was
nice.
the goal in there. Once I hit level 20, I decided, well, what would happen if I went and ran the Epic Borderlands?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Epic Borderlands is
Okay.
level 21. I'm level 20, and when I say level 20, I mean minimal level 20.
Right, you're a level 20 newbie.
Level 20 newbie. I went into there, and I can say that treasure hunt on a level 20 newbie going through the level 21 version, it was quite a challenge in there. It's amazing how fast you go through it when you're going through the level 1 version, but now you're going through the epic one solo with a level 20 newbie, and yeah, it took a while, especially considering that we're talking about Pineleaf, who doesn't know how to build very well.
Right, which is why you want to learn how to survive better.
How to do it, right?
Enter your goal. Yep. Okay. Makes sense
Right.
now.
Then with Minecraft, I was doing the usual thing. I talked about mage rages earlier on that, so I ran the rest of the mage rages for the month of December, and I ran the first mage rage for January. And then I started a new Minecraft series, which I'm calling the Cult of the Arthropod. And in there I'm supposed to be trying to do things relating to things like bees and spiders and all the like.
Oh,
Since
okay. Now the name makes sense. Okay.
right, because the idea here is that they just added bees to Minecraft, so I wanted to incorporate bees into it somehow.
Oh, gotcha.
So I already found a spider spawner. In fact, it's a cave spider spawner. So, oh, even more joyous. The cave spiders are real nasty. So I managed to get the area to that mapped out so I can get to and from that area well enough. And I will have to at some point build some of the areas in the dungeon, all that fun stuff. I'm also needing to build a temple for the within within the nearby village, build a temple there to be the counterpart, because the idea here is that it's getting a little bit inspired by the cult of the reptile god, and therefore I'm going to have the agricultural, I guess, the corrupted agricultural temple that you have
Mm-hmm.
in there, except maybe it's not going to be as good, because I could just imagine a a bee theme being inside of a agricultural temple, considering how important bees are to agriculture. So it even actually fits in some ways better than in the original
A little
module.
bit, yeah.
Yes. Then in tabletop, now, while I didn't post anything on the last SoloCon from last year, I actually did do some gameplaying that was inspired by it. And what they're talking about were finishing up goals for the year because it was near the end of the year, and also playing games that are in your top 5. So I played most of the games I played here were related to my top 5. Actually, 6 5 of the 6 games I played were in my top 5. Therefore, I played Friday. I played that on level 3 and got a level 3 win, which means that I'm probably just going to have to bump Friday up to level 4 at some point. It's going to be real fun the first time I play Friday at level 4. And then I played Deep Space D6 using the Athena ship, which is the second ship you normally learn how to lose, and I lost that pretty quickly. I w- I got pounded on. I think everything started out quietly, and then everything comes up all ramps up all at once, and then blasts you into a million pieces. So it was one of those rounds. Then the game that's not in my top 5 was Nations the Dice game, where I got 27 points there, which I guess is about meh for how I did on that one. Then I ran Nautilian. I managed to get a full crew there, but I was one space from the end when the opposing ship managed to get to their island. So
Oh,
yeah,
that sucks.
so yeah, I I think I had to have a perfect roller or anything like that in order to have any chance of finishing that. So that did not go too well in the end. That's right, because I think I was forced to choose. I think it was the previous turn or something like this, where I was forced to choose between having to give up a member of a crew by giving the dark house a high die, or of giving one of those high dice to the opponent. And of course, yeah, whichever one I was pretty sure I was going to be, things weren't going to go too well on that one. And then I played one deck dungeon where I had my mage play against the dragon, and actually that went pretty well, considering, because this was the first time I was playing the mage in a camp. I started a new campaign, went in there with a mage, and I'm not didn't play haven't played all the mage all that much. And I did manage to get all the way down to the dragon, and I survived 2 rounds against the dragon. Unfortunately, I could not kill it in those 2 rounds, which means there had to be a third round where I was turned into dinner.
It's
So,
longer than I usually survive against the dragon, so good job.
yes. So that worked out fairly well. Then I played an expedition of Eon Zend New Age where I finished up a little bit of goal I had because I wanted to finally have at least one game played with all the mages and with all the nemesis. So as far as I could tell, this was the last of the mages and nemesis that I needed to play in order to have tried out every single one. Which means the next time I play Eon Zen, it means I have to bump up the difficulty level and be a little bit more serious about my about my game there. Because now I have an idea of how they all play. Now let's see if I can actually beat them at a more challenging setting. We'll have to see how that goes. And then that was the end of last year. So now we come to the beginning of this year. And I had all of these new games that I got in December, maybe one or two of them in late November. I decided, all right, I'm going to save these for 2020 because just in case any of them wanted to be near the top 20, it will guarantee that they would have been played during that year. And also, I figured a new year would be a good time for some new games. So I played Age of Civilization, which I got my copy of recently, and everything looked like it went reasonably well in there. It looked like I got a nice score, which looked a little suspicious. Wait a minute, aren't these target scores a little bit low? And then someone pointed out on the SoloCon board that it, something said, "Wow, it's amazing that you could do that considering this." And I says, "Oh, that's the rule I missed." So yeah, so I am going to have to play it right at some point in the near future. After I try out a few other games, I'm going to go back to that one and play it properly. Because what happens is apparently you're only allowed to have three civilizations during the course of the game, and I missed that rule.
Oh.
Yeah, so I created a couple more than three civilizations. So that's something for me to keep in mind when I play it around again and play it properly for what would be my official first run through, since I guess this will count as run zero, trying to learn the game.
Hey, there you go.
Now, I played that just before they announced the first SoloCon for the year. So I didn't count that official.
Oh, okay.
I had posted that on the SoloCon board as game zero because I didn't quite do it. But it's fortunate that I did decide to do that because that's how I got the message that that made me realize that, oh, I forgot that rule.
Dope.
And in the official ones I played for SoloCon so far was first a new game from Gameland called Tiny S. So this is a tactical skirmish game, as the name implies, but this is an adventure mode. Now, I don't, have you seen any of the promos for Tiny?
Yes, I have.
Right, so you know that they have these little cardboard things that act as terrain and stuff like that.
Yep.
So if you're playing in the solo mode, then you could enter into a dungeon and you flip over the terrain tile so that it now turns into a dungeon in there. So I played through one of those. I I went with random teams for this because you do have an enemy there that's going through the automaton in there that's trying to beat on you while you're trying to get to the dungeons to find the crystals. And at first, of course, I wasn't too familiar with how to play the game, so I was getting a little beaten up on and stuff like that. I eventually started getting better to it, and also saying, all right, this is what I got to do in order to sacrifice and stuff like this. So eventually, I did knock out all four opponents, but of course, they slowed me down in getting the crystals. Eventually, I got to a point where the game ended when I was one space from the final crystal. That was close.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so that was about as close as I could get. So that was my first run in Tiny Epic. Now there were probably one or two glitches on my play, and they're like, for example, I had to kept on going back. Oh yes, hold on, I've got previous turn to change the turn marker. I think I eventually got all the turn markers right and didn't accidentally give myself an extra turn. So I'm going to have to pay attention to that a lot more closely when I play that in the future because when I do actually win, I want it to be one where I manage to actually win and not forget to bump the turn marker or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I There were one or two times where I did forget a rule, but I don't think it had none of those had anywhere near the impact of what I did on Age of Civilization. Then the third game, or the second one for the Silicon thing, then was Marvel Champions the Guard game.
Oh, my friend loves this game so much. He was talking about it the other night.
Yes,
Him and I were
and
talking about this. I didn't know you had this.
first game acquisition of the year.
Nice, nice.
So so it is right.
Got to start somewhere.
So that arrived actually on Saturday. So that would have been 2 days ago. So
Oh,
I
sweet.
so I played that, and that went. See, I played the recommended first game, Spider-Man versus Rhino. I was playing that, and it looks like it's not as dependent on being a master deck builder as the Lord of the Rings and Arkham Horror are, because that's the other problem with Arkham Horror is deck building is heavy duty deck building is, but the deck building here tends to be more on the modular side because you have your hero card. So you choose your hero, you get a set for that. And there's also some cards that are related to what your specialty that you're going to go with for this one. There's a
Yep, that's what he was
recommended one
saying.
for, there's a recommended one for the hero at the set for each hero when you're first trying them for the first time, but you can mix and match those later on. And then there are also some basic cards, and I presume that later on there'll be some cards that you can be swapping in and out, but I don't think it's as important to be a master deck builder. Now, maybe if you need to win, trying to win the more difficult levels, in other words, on the higher settings, you might have to do it or something. It's because if you want to say that I beat this on its hardest setting that they have available, but you know me, I never set things on their hardest setting, right? So I think that's going to be, and in fact, this I have a feeling I think is a lot more streamlined than The Lord of the Rings or Arkham Horror on this. So I'm going to try that a few more times, but I have a feeling that it's going to be finishing up for my. In fact, I think because whenever I play a game for the first time, I give it a tentative position on this top 100 chart that I'm building.
Oh, okay. You have your solo games. Gotcha.
Yeah, so let's see what I've gotten here. So I decided to put. Let's see, where did I put this thing on here? But I think it. Yeah, I put it as my tentative. And remember, this is after one playing and not having a chance to go into this too much. So obviously, it could go up or down afterwards. But I put it as initially at number 7, which after our first play is pretty good.
I was gonna say after one play. Wow. Yeah, that's
Well,
really good.
we'll see how much on
Right.
the
It's.
epic tactics. I put it 49 after my first play. So you can see there's a bit of a difference.
I'm. I'll be totally honest. I am not a big, huge fan of any of the tiny epic games. I
Well,
played a few of them, and they just never did a lot for me.
I should say though that right now sitting at 16 is Tiny Epic Galaxies was my 16 for last year. So Tiny Epic Galaxy I like, but
Okay.
that's by far my favorite of the Tiny Epic series.
The only ones out of all of them I really like is the zombies.
Well, yeah, that sounds like your cup of tea.
Well, yeah.
Right. And yeah, but actually Tiny Epic Tax, even though I put it at 49, it looks like it's currently sitting at my second highest Tiny Epic games after Galaxy. So
Wow.
yes, that
Okay.
means so, so it's a possibility it might finish in my top 50, but I don't know about that because my next game that I'm gonna be playing is Wingspan, and based on everything I heard with Wingspan, that may find itself in that top 20 also.
I could see you really liking Wingspan.
Yeah, because that has a lot of promise in it. So I have a feeling, yeah, that yeah, except for Galaxies, I have a feeling a lot of the Tiny Epic games aren't going to be. up in the top areas. And that concludes what I did last week. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. And we did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send it, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. And you can also post on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Dracula at Dracula _ 72, and Piney at Piney Needles. The Players Alliance has two shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. But just to let you know that next week we may be recording on a different night. We'll announce that later. But until then, this is Pipe Mules reminding you to quest responsibly.